Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Rogue Report podcast. My name is Matt, and today I'm diving straight into my topic. I want to talk about demonic possession. The real reason why I am bringing this up today is recently something kind of weird happened. I did discuss this with Rob on an episode of SCP, but I don't know whether or not this has kind of come up before. I think it actually might. The thing that happened recently that kind of did catch my eye and made me raise a little look, because I don't know whether or not this is the type of stuff that I want to believe is possible. But recently, the Annabelle doll was on this really big tour. Whatever the tour was for, I'm not really sure. But the guy who was taking this thing out on its tour, taking it around from city to city, or haunted location to haunted location, whatever, died unexpectedly. And this is the article that I'm reading. His name was Dan Riviera. Died suddenly on July 13th in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, in his hotel room. And the New England Society of Psychic Research said that a day prior to his death, Riviera hosted a showing of Annabelle while he was leading the tour of Devils on the Run tour. And being in Gettysburg, I've actually been in Gettysburg myself, that there's, ghost tours, ghost bus tours, going up and down constantly. So it's one of the bigger, it is a battlefield, so it's a big attraction for the paranormal people that want to take a look at stuff like that. Me in particular, I've gone as far as saying that I've watched shit like Ghost Adventures and paid attention to that a couple of times. Do I take them super seriously? Not anymore, just because of the fact that, in all honesty, it's kind of, I don't know, it can be a little too much and a little too obvious, especially when it's on TV. Something like this, you go as far as back as people like the Warreners, Lorraine Warren and whatever the hell his name was. I'm too stupid. What the fuck is their names? Ed and Lorraine Warren. If you've ever seen any of the Paranormal Activity movies, or not Paranormal Activity, The Conjuring. It's Patrick Wilson and whatever the hell her name is. That's basically the characters that I'm pretty sure that's who they play, actually. But Ed and Lorraine are those are real people. They were paranormal investigators in the 60s and 70s. There's the one story, I think it's a Conjuring movie. It's called The Devil Made Me Do It. And that's an actual story. The Devil on Trial. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Anyway, Ed and Lorraine Warren said something about this doll and saying it can't be moved. It shouldn't be moved. And why would you ever move it? Part of this article does say that the statement from the coroner's office in Gettysburg saying that his cause of death was nothing suspicious. So he might have just been in not the best of health. It's one of this, nothing suspicious, sure. As far as what you want to believe. But my whole thing is I don't know what to believe, because I don't necessarily believe, I don't have a big religious belief or anything like that. But when it comes to exorcism and stories of possession, I wanted to actually go ahead and read through a couple or so. The one that pops up a lot here as a famous story of an exorcism or possession is the exorcism of Ronald Doe. Also saying that this was the exorcism of a 14-year-old boy back in the late 1940s. Now, this is also stating that supernatural claims surrounding the events were used as elements in William Peter Blatty's novel The Exorcist. Also saying that the true identity of the child was then later named, his name was Ronald Edwin Hunkler, lived from 1935 to 2020. That'd be fucked up if you got taken up by COVID. You survive your demonic possession, but you get taken out of COVID. The origins of the claims, it says that reports of the possession and exorcism. Reports is thought to be the family's former pastor. According to one account, the total of 48 people witnessed this exorcism, which I guess that's enough people to say that maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. But that's my whole thing is somebody actually possessed? That's kind of like my main question here. Allen wrote that the diary kept by attending priest Father Raymond J. Bishop detailed the exorcism performed, identified Ronald Doe, a.k.a. Robbie. Speaking in 2013, Allen emphasizes that the definitive proof that the boy known as Robbie was possessed by the malevolent spirits is unattainable. Also expressed his skepticism about potential paranormal events before his death. When asked in an interview to make the statement verifying that the boy had actually been demonically possessed, responded saying, "No, I can't go on record. I never made an absolute statement about these things because I didn't feel like it was qualified." Even certain people, I feel like, will play it off like that is an actual thing because it's kind of a... maybe like of a cash grab a little bit, I would say. Not necessarily for the like whoever's being possessed. Like, I mean, it's kind of an attention grabber as well. It's like a cash grab is, I guess, a far-fetched thing, but because I don't know how you're supposed to make money off your own possession. I'm talking about people that claim themselves to be exorcists and go out and do exorcism and charge people for said thing, but like make people believe that something's actually wrong when they're just playing a fucking show. Like, I wonder if that's an actual thing. You know, I look like I was dressed like a doctor and somebody asked me if I was a doctor, I'd tell them no. Don't you think they would be pissed off if I told them no, I wasn't? Like, why the fuck are you dressed like that? Basically what I was saying is people are assholes and will find a way to make money off of other people's, downfall or whatever. Like if somebody thinks that they're possessed, like you can basically manipulate people into giving you money for shit like that. Let's read a little bit more about Roland here. Born into a German family in 1935, they lived in Cottage City, Maryland. According to Allen, only child and dependent upon adults in his household playmates. Primarily his Aunt Harriet. His aunt, who was a spiritualist, introduced Roland to the Ouija board when he expressed interest in it. Okay, so going off of what this, like the kind of stuff that my wife talks about, she will never allow a Ouija board in our home. I myself don't necessarily believe in jack shit because I don't know, maybe I'm just like ignorant towards the whole thing. I would totally screw around with a Ouija board just to see, what would happen because I think it's a bunch of bullshit. But Anna will lose her shit if she knew if one was even in the house, let alone being used. Because there is something there where she is legit afraid of it. I think actually, if I'm going out on a limb here, I would say my buddy Nick is also the same way. But Anna screws around with tarot cards. She practices Wiccan beliefs. I've mentioned this before, I think, a couple of times. But she does tarot card readings. And every now and again, I'll make her do mine. Now, sometimes I'm actually looking for something. Whether or not, because some people turn to whatever religion they believe in. Me being somewhat of an unrestricted free agent for religious beliefs, I will tend to, go with somebody else's, especially my wife's, and if she's sitting there and practicing it on her own, I tend to give into that because obviously I would share her interests. But also, I like it myself, I guess, just a tad bit. I like interpreting because when you get a tarot card reading done, it's your own interpretation of what's going on for your past, present, or future. And then you're also, thinking about maybe one thing in particular and how you want to further maybe experiment or just analyze a certain situation. Maybe you want to quit your job, or maybe that's what you're looking for. The answer there, what's the past of that job been like? What are you looking at right now? What are you looking forward to in the next couple of years? So then once you get your reading done, you interpret it the way that it is said. Obviously every card means certain thing, but it's up to you as, trying to, believe in it, but also understand it, I guess, as well. I understand it as much as I can. I don't try to play it off like it's shit. for any religion for that matter. You believe in whatever the hell you want to believe in. Now let's go actually to the exorcisms here for Ronald. After Aunt Harriet's death, the family experienced strange noises, furniture moving on its own accord, and ordinary objects such as vases flying or levitating when the boy was nearby. The family turned to their Lutheran pastor, Luther Miles. That's funny. Luther? Oh, Luther. Wait a minute. Is Luther like a title, like father or something? Never mind. Because it says Miles Scholes, whatever. Long interest in, parapsychology? I don't know what the fuck parapsychology is. Oh, the psychic. He's a fucking... Just say that, you fucking weirdo. He arranged for the boy to spend on the night of his home in order to observe him. When the psychologist Joseph Banks Rhine learned that Scholes claimed he witnessed household objects and furniture seemingly moving by themselves, Ryan wondered if he was unconsciously exaggerating some of the facts, and then he advised the boy's parents to see a Catholic priest. So even anybody outside the Catholic Church was like, no, we can't do anything for you. This sucks. According to the traditional story, the boy then underwent numerous exorcisms. Roman Catholic priest conducted an exorcism in the Georgetown University Hospital. During the exorcism, the boy allegedly slipped one of his hands out of his restraint, broke a bed spring from under the mattress, and then used it as an impromptu weapon, slashing the priest's arm and resulting in the exorcism ritual being halted. And once again, I don't think that this is like far-fetched from being the truth. I also don't think that there could have been something could have been wrong with this child. There's the pure fact that there are people that have mental disabilities, whether or not you would consider it psychological, or maybe the boy had some sort of like hereditary disorder that, came from his family. I don't like. I'm pretty sure and certain that they would have, looked into something like that, and doctors may have checked them out or whatever, but there's no mentioning of that crap. After failed exorcisms, incidents occurred, including unexplained scratches on his body. The boy's mother, a native to St. Louis, desperately sought opportunities for a change in scenery. Upon seeing the word Louis appear on scratches on his boy's rib cage, they resolved to travel to St. Louis. The family stayed at a relative's home in the inner Bell suburbs of Belnoir. During their stay, Roland's cousin contacted one of their professors at the university, who turned to spoke to an associate at the college church. Together, the priests visited his cousin in his home, where they allegedly observed a shaking body, flying objects, and the boy speaking in a guttural voice and exhibiting an aversion to anything sacred. Barden was granted permission from the archbishop to perform another exorcism. This took place in the hospital in St. Louis, which closed its doors not too long ago, actually. A St. Louis hospital, later called South City Hospital, which closed its doors in 2023. Before the next exorcism began, another priest, Walter Holleran, was called to psychic wing of the hospital. A third priest was also there to assist, stating that during the scene, words such as evil and hell, along with other various marks, appeared on the teenager's body. During a portion of the exorcism ritual, the boy's mattress began to shake. Moreover, Roland broke Holleran's nose during the process, told a reporter that after the rite was over, the anonymous subject of the exorcism went to lead a rather ordinary life. Questioned the supernatural claims associated with the story possessing Ronald Doe was simply a spoiled, disturbed bully who threw deliberate tantrums to get attention or to get out of school. Report that Halloran, who was present at the exorcism, never heard a boy's voice change, and he thought that the boy merely mimicked Latin words he heard clergymen say, rather than gaining a sudden ability to speak Latin. Reported that when marks were found on the boy's body, failed to check the boy's fingernails to see if he made the marks himself. Also questioned the story of one of the priest's attempts to exorcise the boy and his subsequent injury, saying he could find no evidence that such an episode had actually occurred. Much of the commonly accepted information about the story was based on hearsay, not actual documented, and was never fact-checked. The boy was restrained in the hospital in attempted exorcism, and Georgetown Hospital was injured in the boy during an exorcism. 2 psychiatrists, Rob Doe, suffered from mental illness. 2 priests, this was a case of demonic possession. 2 writers and film producers and such, it's a great story for exploit and profit. I was saying all this bullshit just not too long ago. Basically, people were being told to say, this is what they saw instead of what they actually saw. Like, change it up a little bit. Another skeptic wrote that there was simply no credible evidence to suggest that the boy was possessed by demons or evil spirits, and maintains that the symptoms of possession can be childishly simple to fake. Diminished suggestions that supernatural forces made scratches or markings or caused words to appear on the teenager's body is unreachable places, saying a determined youth, probably even without a wall mirror, could easily have managed such a feat. One occasion, the boy was reported seen scratching the words hell and Christ on his chest by using his own fingernails. See? I mean, like... That's the big story, though. That's the big story that everybody wants to believe, is that he was actually possessed. Another section here is religious perspectives of this, is that 2 different professors, one of psychology and one of sociology, wrote that advocates of possession believe that, quote, although they are not frequent, exorcisms are necessary for casting out demonic cases of genuine possession cannot be explained by psychiatry. Anything that has been turned into anything from this story, we have the exorcism case inspired the novel The Exorcist, which was turned into the horror film with the same title, of course. The case was inspired by the movie Possessed, which a 2000 movie called Possessed, which a little closer to the story of the actual novel. Documentary was made in the case of titled in The Grip of Evil. Another documentary film was made in 2010 titled The Haunted Boy, The Secret Diary of the Exorcist, where a group of investigators travel to the location in question and uncover the diary that is said to be kept by Bowden himself. I mean, obviously with that story, taking place fucking damn near 100 years ago now, is it's a bit much to like actually believe. Now, what I'm gonna read like another story or two depending on how long they are, but this one I just found regular. Like, this is another random article. I think this is on BuzzFeed actually. Yeah. My friend and I are Mexican. My friend's mom believed that someone had put a curse on her. In her village, you have to hire a curandero or a brujo, which the meaning of that first word is a healer, that who uses folk remedies. So basically, like a fucking natural, fucking. I know the word. Damn it. A holistic healer type person. One paid her a house visit, and it turned out that she had been cursed. According to him, a jealous ex-lover of her husband had put a pretty wicked one on her. Said that he would perform a ritual that night to dispel the evil. But she had relaxed and closed her eyes completely because it was going to summon a great spirit who was not supposed to be seen by humans. The healer does all his business while her daughter, her friend here, is there for support. The healer starts chanting and the room becomes heavy and loud, gradually building up. She couldn't see anything because her eyes were closed, but she felt a presence in the room. Then she heard growling and howling and all sorts of animalistic noises. The healer said that they had found a wailing wolf spirit to trace and eliminate the curse. My friend told me that she pretty much shat herself, hoping for it to be over. After a few hours, the noises finally stopped and the room felt light again. Then the man said that the spirit had done its job and that her mom was good to go. It still gives me chills thinking about it. I mean, I guess, witnessing that on your own, a court or whatever like that, I think it's one of those things where it's like you were not necessarily witnessing something like of a possession or anything like an exorcism or anything like that. This just more reads of, maybe you're not too deep in that same belief as that family is. So like your friend's family and their way of using those healers and stuff like that, I think is more along the lines of you being open now to somebody else's beliefs. It's basically what I was just saying about like how I will sit there and let Anna do tarot card readings for me, and I get interested in it. If it gives you chills, then I would take, that's possibly a good thing. It's something that you might actually want to look into, so you start maybe finding some beliefs yourselves. Let's try this one. Yeah, because this is another story about a Ouija board. When I was 14, me and my best friend at this same time got a Ouija table and decided to play with it a bit. We got into a dark room at my place. Another friend of ours knocked on the door and was trying to contact spirits. We let her in and resumed. The third person kept mocking us as we tried to get the supernatural messages when all of a sudden she passed out. We thought she was joking, but then she opened her eyes and started to talk with a voice that wasn't hers. It was pretty damn scary, but we still thought she could just be playing with us. Then she laughed, a horrible laughter, and started to say things that happened to me that I never had said to anyone and my best friend at the same time. Candles started flickering and the flames went a bit high for my skeptical being not to shiver in the spite myself. My best friend ran out of my place straight to the neighbor who was mother of saint. Oh, let me guess, a nun or something like that. When the woman came to my place and saw our friend, she gasped and told us to help bring the girl to her place. We did so, but not before getting some scratches by not allowing her to get undressed in the daylight. Calling to some men that were looking for us as we marched toward the Holy Mother's place. Once there, she locked herself with the girl in a room and told us to wait outside. We don't know what happened. After a couple hours, the friend came out very tired and didn't remember anything after we let her in and started playing with the Ouija table. The Mother Saint told us off not to play with what we can't control and whatnot. Nowadays, I believe this friend got impressed, suggested with the ritual, and was all not only intriguing things, the fact that she knew all the secret things about me and my best friend. Just another fucking case of being smartasses. It's just like it's kind of like a magic trick, but it's also not like a magic trick. It's a lot of like people being dickheads, in all honesty. I think that, when it comes to demonic possession in particular, I could literally get a lot of people riled around that thought that somebody is possessed. And you can always do it. Like, it sucks because it's a thing where, the innocent are easier to manipulate. So that's why nobody's going to believe that, like, me in my 30s, I'm possessed by a demon. That's why you're always going to hear the story. It's always going to happen to a child because they're easier to, like, they're fucking stupid is basically what I have to get out, is that kids are so fucking ignorant to their own intelligence. Like, they just think they fucking know it all when they don't. And then that's when, they go ahead and do dumb shit like this, like using a Ouija board. And I don't know, maybe that was, will I ever use one? I don't know, but I know for a fact that I'm not allowed to use one in my own house. So, and then when it comes to, like, people, like, you don't hear about possessions all the time. I don't think I honestly want to know when the last one was. Like, when was the last time you heard of anybody being possessed besides a goddamn doll traveling around the country? But anyway, yeah, that's basically, I just wanted to like read up about that and kind of talk that out, because maybe I don't know what I believe. It's kind of fucking, it can go a couple of different ways for me, in all honesty, because of what I, believe, what my wife practices and stuff like that, and then my own personal beliefs, because sometimes it just bounces back and forth off of each other. I'm not opposed to doing like paranormal investigations. I would love to do something like that. I would love to be proven wrong. When you see stuff like on TV, it can be very, very scripted, or just appear to be very, very scripted. I think that it is. I honestly believe that Zach Bagans is a really good producer and makes really good television. That's all it is. It's television. But, it works for him and whoever else. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you again for listening to another episode of Rogue Report. Please check out other content on this channel. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Why not? Keep your ear to the ground for the next episode. Until then, we will see you. Bye-bye.